everyone. Welcome in. We'd like to especially welcome in PCHers, O9ers, college students, disrespectful RAs, smoochy boy Troys, dreamy goth girls, and in distress crushes to Life on Mars, the Veronica Mars rewatch podcast where we go through episode by episode. I'm your host, Brenton.
And I'm your other host, Emily.
And we are talking about episode 4 this week, Wrath of Khan.
Can we revisit that opener really quick? Is it not a Manic Pixie Dream Girl if it's goth? Is she? That sounds really offensive. God.
It totally is.
Okay.
G 100. It's exactly.
That's the energy they're going for?
Absolutely. It's
okay.
like, this is the dream girl for all these schlubby nerds playing video games.
Schlubby? What does that mean?
Schlubby?
Yeah.
It is just like...
I majored in English, not slang.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it's... like people that don't take care of themselves and like...
Okay.
Yeah. Would be like that, so they don't necessarily have like new clothes or anything. They're wearing like sweatpants or something. Be like schlubby.
So like me.
Yeah, exactly. What we're wearing.
Currently wearing Brenton sweatpants, so you know.
Schlubby Brent. Find me on the Veronica Mars forums.
Oh God. It sounds dirty. I don't like it.
But what'd you think of the episode?
I feel like this is where the plot starts to get good.
Mm-hmm.
Like this was an episode that when the last two, I feel like when we rewatched them, I was like, I wouldn't have, like, if you would ask me about those episodes or like ran through the synopsis and I hadn't watched it, I wouldn't have remembered any of it.
Yeah.
This one I remembered.
Exactly. I think this is the episode where it finally got good.
Well, actually, and the last one, when Troy starts showing up, it's something about Troy that really triggered, which is so strange because he's not here for much longer.
Yeah, that's true.
Spoiler alert.
Well, he showed up in episode 2 with Paris Hilton.
Yeah, but like when he starts like really picking it up.
Okay.
You
when
know.
he starts becoming... Yeah, I thought the Weevil episode last time was decent. But I think this one I felt was like, oh yeah, this is great. Like, this is a truly great episode.
It does seem unfortunate that when we have a good episode for the O9ers, we have a bad episode for Weevil. And not just like of things that happen, just like airtime. Like the only scene with Weevil in it in this episode was during the memorial.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I need a little Weevil in every episode.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they're only really in it when there's like something bad happening to the PCHers.
You would think because there were basically 3 plot lines going on that we can get into in a minute, but you'd think they would have sprinkled a little Weevil in there.
Yeah, exactly. He could have fit in anywhere on the school. Like,
just he rides around his bike, just have him drive by.
Hi.
Hey, Veronica.
But working our way backwards a little bit, Weevil does factor in because of Lily Kane and Amanda Seyfried, which is the first episode that we get extended flashbacks with her, and it is fantastic.
Yes, I do appreciate the way they show her relationship with each individual character, like her relationship with Duncan, her relationship with her father, her relationship with her mother, how close she and Veronica were. Like, I think it's really sweet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
And it makes you believe that Jake Kane probably didn't kill his daughter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and by having it focus on, by bringing her in and having like those scenes, like it starts setting up the stakes a little bit more for like the mystery of like trying to figure out
The whodunit.
Exactly, and I think it like you said, Jake Kane, and it erases other people off the board too, because I think Logan is at the first, because he's like just so shitty, that he's like a very easy person to point at and be like, ooh, the boyfriend.
Well, it's always
right?
the boyfriend.
Right, exactly.
The husband, the boyfriend. And I mean, it usually is. Domestic violence is a real thing.
Yeah, totally. But I think when you see him be vulnerable and like take on that task from Duncan,
mm-hmm.
like you see him being a good person, and that like, and even in the flashbacks too, and how he uses the footage that Veronica gives him, You see that he's got like a more, not tender, I guess, but he's more human.
They humanize him a little.
Exactly. And that he actually did love his girlfriend and probably was not the killer.
Yeah. And it does also set that scene, the same scene where we see Jake Kane at the memorial, where you're like, oh, it's probably not Jake Kane. You begin to question, like, why is Duncan so controlled? So it starts planting the Duncan seed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, why wouldn't... Well, no. Never mind that. Disregard that thought. I was going to go on. But it potentially sets him up as that he could be a suspect.
He's on the list.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. So, go ahead.
Well, we can jump right in. When we get to I wanted to talk about Amanda Seyfried, but we can get to Amanda Seyfried when we get to Lily Kane scene.
Perfect. Okay. Because my first note is smooching Troy boy.
Yes.
And then my second note is thumb ring.
He has a ring on his thumb?
No, I think Veronica just wears an inordinate amount of thumb rings this episode.
Okay.
It's like thumb rings and red.
Interesting.
The fashion choice of red, though, plays into Lily, so I accept. Did you notice that?
Because it's instead of her wearing pink, instead of wearing like more muted colors.
Well, so the first flashback we get, which is basically right after Veronica's making out with Troy on her doorstep, and her dad's like, I want to meet him. I feel like that's all that happens there.
Yeah, exactly, pretty much. Yeah, that they're making out. Well, Troy asked her to homecoming.
Yes.
And
she plays it cool and doesn't answer.
Does the shuts the door.
I don't know what that's like. I've never not answered someone in my life. If you talk to me, you can't leave for about 20 minutes.
Exactly. Even if the answer was no, maybe. We'll talk, Troy.
Like let's make a pro-con list. I'll be back to you. Is that not how most people do it?
Of course, yeah.
That's what I did when you asked me out. I just
pro-conned it?
Yep.
Oh, God. Thank God it ended up in the pro column.
Well, we were a little
or
tipsy.
Or you're self-destructive, yeah.
But so then we get the first Lily flashback, which is about homecoming because he asked her to homecoming.
Yeah.
And it's like the day before the dance, and Lily and Veronica are in Veronica's room, and Veronica's showing Lily the dress she got, which is like this pink, like pretty girl dress. And Lily starts going through her closet, and she's like, this isn't you. Like, your clothes don't represent you. Like, you're not like this white, frilly, pastel, like, girl. You're red satin.
You're not a yellow cotton dress.
You're not a yellow cotton dress?
Yes, that's what I wrote down. Direct quote.
I expect that on my Valentine's card.
You're satin, and then you open up the card, and it says, you're red satin.
But so then from that point on, every time you see Veronica in this episode, she is wearing red. She wears a red sweater to school the next day.
Oh.
She wears a red satin dress to the dance, and then she goes skinny. Like, it's a whole thing.
Awesome. Okay, I didn't even pick up on that. That's great.
Yeah, I was like, the red is a big part of this. But yeah, that's all I have for that. And then anything else?
Hey, this is just an aside. My love for Keith goes unfaded. But his quotes for like going out with Troy is that it eats into daddy-daughter time, and it's like, yeah, you see me, but we don't do anything.
Yeah, because she's like, I see you all the time.
Right, exactly. But yeah, that's all I need.
We used to see movies.
Exactly.
Yeah, so from there, then she goes to school, and then we get the Wallace Georgia scene, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And have we met Georgia before this? No. I couldn't remember. Mm-mm. Okay. So Georgia's a girl. I was going to say just a girl, but that's offensive. She's a girl that Wallace has a crush on.
Yes.
And I feel like as the series goes on, we will watch Wallace fall in love with many girls that Veronica has to wingman for him.
Yeah, pretty much. He doesn't get a steady... Oh, God. How old am I?
Oh, Grandpa called.
Exactly. Man, this Wallace's punch card's pretty full, huh? When's he going to settle down? All
right, Keith. Yeah, he doesn't get a steady girlfriend for a while.
Yeah, until season 2.
You sit in that shame for a moment. But basically, our introduction to Georgia is that she got swindled by some basically like a more elevated version of the Nigerian scam, where it's like, if you give me money, then I'll give you even more money once my trust fund unfreezes when I turn 21 in 2 weeks.
Right, exactly.
And I'm like, how stupid is she, Wallace? Do you really want to date her?
Oh God, that's kind of true.
Like, that was my first thought.
And don't they even call it out at some point? Doesn't Veronica's monologues call it like the
college student Nigerian scam,
Yeah,
or the
exactly.
rich boy, like the 09er Nigerian scam or something.
Yeah, something like that.
But that's at the end. That's how she summarizes it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I just meant that the episode calls attention to it. But like what it is. So
then our good friend Wally's like, oh, I'm gonna get my friend Veronica to help us fix this. So they have a meeting in the girls' bathroom because it's Veronica's office.
Well, yeah, of course.
Does no one else use that bathroom?
Well, no, they try and use it and Wallace shuts them out.
It's a very populated school. You would think someone who works there would be like, Veronica, you can't make the bathroom your office.
Well, it's also when the bell goes off, we learn that it's like, it's
and she's late to science. Or
exactly. So that's why nobody's there.
Generic science, because I couldn't remember the class.
Let's see. So she's a junior in this season.
Uh-huh.
At my school, that would have been chemistry.
I took honors chemistry my sophomore year, so I took AP anatomy my junior year.
Interesting. We didn't have AP anatomy.
God bless, because that was the moment that I knew I was not meant to follow any sort of science path. So we took a test in class. This wasn't even the AP test. I don't even think I signed up for that AP test. I knew better. And we had to look at skin under a microscope and identify the different types of skin, like the different layers or the different mammal. Like, I don't even remember what it was, but I looked into that microscope and everything looked the same. And I was like, oh no. And like, when I looked in that textbook, I could identify it all. Like, if you showed me a picture, but I don't think I ever learned how to use a microscope correctly because I couldn't figure it out.
All throughout high school, I never knew how to use a microscope.
It's like just like telescopes. To this day, if you put a telescope in front of me, I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, you look at the stars.
Yeah, but at outdoor ed, they handed me the telescope and all I saw was a black sky. And I passed it to my mother, the chaperone, and she couldn't see it either.
Well, she was just chaperoning.
She wasn't
She's
gazing.
no telly, exactly.
So, I mean, who knows what she was taking? Maybe it was physics or civics? It could have been civics. It could have not even been science.
I thought she said science.
She might have said science.
Yeah, you're probably right. When you said science just now, it sounded correct. So
sounded right.
I'm going to go with that.
Okay.
It's also not in my episode summary that I have in front of me, so we don't need to worry about it.
It doesn't matter. It's not an important fact.
It's science. We're all in on this.
We just take generic science for 4 years.
Exactly.
AP
Nobody
science.
says otherwise.
But then we also get the scene with Logan and Duncan.
Yes.
And Duncan is supposed to be going through tapes of his sister to make the memorial video because his parents wanted him to. Like, they thought it'd give him closure or something, which it doesn't.
Why put that on your son?
That's fucked up.
Yeah. I'm gonna let you know that I'm not gonna, if my sister ever got murdered, I'm not putting that together.
Well,
let's get some outside people to do that.
Also,
they could afford it.
Well, but they was like, we wanted someone who knew her, but then like ask one of her friends, not her brother, who found her.
Oh,
he found her. Well, or he killed her. He was there.
Bum bum bum. Yeah.
He's a red herring.
Exactly.
The
red herring.
Just like in Scooby Doo.
Yeah, pup named Scooby Doo. Yeah.
He
kind of looks like Duncan.
Is that on streaming? Hair. Can we watch a pup named Scooby Doo after this?
I have no idea.
Okay, well, that's your homework after this. We'll have to look this up.
Okay.
But so then Logan is like, well, even though I used to date your sister and we're best friends, which I still can't figure out. So is Logan a year older than Duncan? Or was Lily dating a guy that was younger than her? Or were Lily and Duncan the same grade?
I think they're same grade.
Were they twins? They weren't twins.
Were they not?
I don't know. Were they?
They could have been.
I don't know.
That's kind of vague.
We should find out more about that.
Because everybody else is all in the same grade.
Mm-hmm.
Except for... Okay.
Regardless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a weird. I feel like
it's a weird one.
Yeah, exactly.
It's ambiguous.
And yeah, and the relationship crossover there seems like of course, like that's a good weird TV construct.
It's like how on Gossip Girl when like the two characters' parents were dating and they were dating. It's like I didn't say their names to you because I knew you didn't know them.
Yeah, I know these things. Why don't you use one I know, Riverdale?
Exactly. It's just like Betty and Jughead, and then I almost said Betty's mom because I couldn't remember her name.
Alice Cooper.
I know. Well, not anymore. Didn't she go back to her maiden name, or is she still Alice Cooper?
She's always Alice Cooper to me.
Okay. And
my God, why would you? Yeah, Betty Cooper. I'm assuming in the comics maybe she's Alice Cooper. Okay, I'll back off that. Just makes me think of the metal guy with the big black hair, and finger pointing Jones.
And finger pointing Jones, or Forsyth the second, right?
Mm-hmm. Forsyth Pendleton the second, right?
Yeah, that's god awful. No wonder Jughead goes by Jughead. Anyways, this isn't a Riverdale podcast.
No. Mm-mm.
Yet.
Exactly. Did Betty kill Jughead?
But then my favorite thing about this whole thing is that they're doing a memorial before homecoming.
Right.
I don't really know. Like, whatever.
They put it in a fountain.
But it's for a fountain, but it's like and I remember this in the graduation episode too. It's like a wall fountain.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's almost like a drinking fountain.
Exactly.
Like
it's weird.
Like it's not couldn't they have afforded a bigger fountain?
They definitely could have.
And if so, why this one?
J. Kane made this town.
I know. Even the secretary was a millionaire. It's my favorite fact.
Oh, it's so good.
Well, tidbit. It's not a true fact. But Logan volunteers to do the video for Duncan, so he takes it over and talks about how he's like good at video editing, or
yeah, exactly. He's like, oh,
one
I know
of
how
those
to
rich
do this
boy
stuff.
skills.
Exactly. When they shepherd us into the world, they put us in front of iMovie and give us some quick instructions.
Sink or swim, bud. Sink or swim.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's all I have for that.
Yeah.
And then I go back to Georgia. Am I missing anything?
Nope. Mm-mm.
So then we find out that Georgia was duped by an actor named Carl.
Oh, wait. I think you are skipping over.
Oh.
Are you skipping over something?
I don't know.
Did we not already get Troy asking Veronica to homecoming?
Didn't we do that at the very beginning?
I meant her agreeing.
Oh, yes. I didn't mention that. Yeah, she agrees at school.
Mm-hmm.
But we knew she was going to agree.
Yeah,
she was just being coy.
Right. And agrees to meet Keith. And I wrote down, it's like, I would kill for Keith to be the father I met.
Is my stepfather not good enough for you?
No, he's great. He's great. But if I was a boy in high school, Keith would be the optimal.
Really? You'd want to meet the former sheriff? You'd be so scared. You'd cry.
But like,
once you knew him.
Yeah.
But
I'm on the up and up. I'm not booking these secret hotel rooms.
Were you not booking secret hotel rooms?
No. With what money?
That lawn mowing money.
Ooh, baby.
No, you spent all your money on WoW. I get it.
Mm-hmm. I didn't spend money.
Just in general in stock. That's why he's upper middle class.
Exactly. But I didn't I'm trying to think how to phrase this now.
Just keep digging. It's more fun this way.
I didn't do. I really didn't just randomly buy things until my senior year
of high school.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was like, of college. I feel like that's a lie, but of high school, I could see.
Yeah, exactly. No. By college, I was already just deep in the hole of throwing money away.
Just light it on fire when it shows up.
Pretty much.
Well, I mean, someone had to pay for all the vodka.
Yeah, why not? Why not me? And then we get a flashback to the original homecoming.
Oh, I don't even have this. Carry on.
Oh, yeah. Where it's where they're gonna go. It's like they're taking the pictures And so this is where like we get like Lily Kane being like, oh, agent of chaos, like kind of thing. Like she's like fun, you know, and her mom's everything, you know, just like middle finger to authority kind of thing. Like mom's like, oh, like pull up your like dress or whatever, and so she pulls it down, and like kind of stuff like that. And I think Amanda Seyfried is really, really good and charismatic in like doing that.
Yeah, it's like you don't hate this girl for sassing off to her parents.
No.
Like she doesn't make you mad and you're not annoyed with her and she's not being like obstinate. She's just like, here's the line and I'm going to walk over it.
Right, exactly. And you get why like Veronica would idolize this girl so much, because like it's that person like in high school, because this flashback Veronica is much more like subdued and like quiet and like not as sure of herself, where Lily Kane is like, at least presents herself as like super assured and like very comfortable with doing what she wants to do.
She's a honey badger.
Exactly. She doesn't give a fuck. And because I think, especially too, since this is a murder mystery where girl in small town dies, and I immediately go back to something like Twin Peaks, which kind of like set that off. At least that trend. This is a very different show, but that we don't get the impression that she was out of control. She was like gonna do what she wants to do, but she wasn't. She doesn't seem like she's like in over her head or anything. It's
putting
like
herself in danger or anything like that.
Exactly. It's like it's presenting that even though she is this like, I'm this like party girl and I do what I want, like it's not necessarily a negative.
Well, and to juxtapose her with Georgia, who like falls for this scam, like Lily would have been running the scam.
Oh,
like
totally.
She's presented as the character that's like, I know what I'm doing. I'm confident about what I'm doing. And I see other people for what they are. And I think that's like, even with some of the flashbacks, the way she toys with Logan and like the way she teases Veronica and like the way she even like how at the beginning she tells Veronica like, you're more than this. Like she sees people for like who they want to be. And like, that's what Veronica idolized about her. It's like that you see me for what I want to present and who I am. Exactly.
And especially in high school, those people are like so important to like pull you up out of at least your own self-pity kind of thing.
I never thought about that.
Yeah. And you see her and Logan, like they're like like truly great together, because they're both, you know, at least in the flashback that we kind of get, like great sparring partners, like as another more agent of chaos kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know. I really like the representation of Lily as not someone who was so much like seduced by like some sort of like dark intent or like truly sad, like pitiable person at her core. It's like, no, this was a person that was like vibrant and charismatic that was like taken away.
Yes. And she, what I think is fun, and we can get into it more when we get to the scene where Logan's editing the video clips, it's like the mother wants to show the watered down version of her. And for people like Veronica and Logan, like I think that's where that relationship for the two of them stems from. It's like we saw her for what she truly was and she saw us for who we truly were, and we can't represent her this way.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it's, yeah. And I think that's why Duncan was having a hard time with it. It's like why he couldn't edit the clips.
Right. And he doesn't really like, I wouldn't put it to Duncan to like figure that out kind of thing.
No, he's dense as a board. He is the dumbest character on the show by far.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I just wanted to say that about.
He makes Georgia look good. No offense to Georgia, sweet girl.
Yeah.
But like, don't give money to anyone you don't know. Ever. Just in general. Seems like a good rule of thumb.
Exactly.
Life lessons with Emily. Unless you're
a few...
donating to like a political campaign or a good cause, but do your research.
Yeah, there you go. So, get back on to where you were going.
I don't remember where I was going now. I got off the
you
train.
You were talking about that we find out that Georgia was duped.
Oh yeah, she was duped by Carl, who was an actor. That's really all I have about that.
Oh yeah, so and then they like set up the Veronica calls and they get the meetup So then Veronica is in red. Meets this Carl on the beach while Wallace and Georgia are like watching from a safe distance, and Georgia doesn't recognize the guy at all.
But he's got the same outfit.
Exactly.
Because he's an actor.
Mm-hmm.
So he has a costume.
Right. And he's an actor. I forget what the play was that he is at the local theater. But Veronica accosts him outside afterwards and thinks he's part of on some reality show called Duped.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But it was... Yeah, he's convinced that he's partaking as basically like an agent of chaos in the reality show.
Right.
And then finds out that like, oh, this is actually scamming people.
Uh-huh. But it doesn't seem too remorseful.
Not at all. So then Veronica makes a plan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hatching a plan. And then, so I already really liked this like side mystery, and compared to like some of the other mysteries in the past episodes, I'm like, this is the first like truly great one where it's like just a fun, even though you don't know like really where it's going, like it's a more of a fun mystery to like follow along as like the B plot kind of thing.
Yes. And this one does. It has three very specific plots. I don't feel like every episode is this clean, but this one is like you have the Georgia and Wallace and Veronica solving this mystery for them, which plays into the going to the college and all of that we'll get into. You have the current homecoming situation in our current timeline with Veronica and Troy and Logan trying to do the video and all of that. And then you have the homecoming flashbacks that tie into that aspect of it. Mm-hmm. But it was very clean. Like, I don't think any other episodes are this clean.
No. Mm-mm.
Usually I'm like, why am I learning about this?
Right, exactly.
Is this going to come up on the test?
Why are we watching this part? But the guy who was playing Carl, that's his name, gives Veronica a phone number that he used to like that got in contact with him, and it turns out to be a video game club.
Because the nerds, they get us.
Mm-hmm. They're out to dupe us. And so that's when Veronica infiltrates as your goth pixie dream girl.
I put Manic Pixie Dream Goth.
Just the best.
And also, this is when we get the scene of Wallace telling Veronica he won't talk about girls with her.
Oh, yeah.
I love that scene. Like, Wallace is like, I'm not a girl. You can't get me to talk about, like, this girl that I like. And she didn't bring it up at all. And then he talks about how much he likes Georgia. And it's very cute and very funny and very Wallace. And shows how important it is to teach men that it's okay to talk about their feelings.
Absolutely. Wallace is great. And he is just so pure, and because even when he's like joking about that, he's like, oh, I'm not a girl, I'm not going to talk to us. It's not like condescending. It's just like that, like, all right, you can egg me on a little bit. Yeah, like I'm really happy.
I want to talk about this. It was definitely like a please poke me.
Exactly. Yeah. He's so good. I love Wallace.
I know. Oh, and then the wasn't the group of guys the game club called the Silicon Mafia?
Yes, it's the two guys.
Yes.
But real quick, for her being the like goth dream girl, it's like she's wearing the like dark hair. Oh, sorry, dark Betty's in here. But like
Riverdale,
exactly, schoolgirl outfit with like wrist guards on. So it's like totally.
I wore a pink version of a very similar outfit to high school one day, and I think it was my sophomore year, and my English teacher at the time told me that if I wore that outfit to school again, she'd write me up, and couldn't figure out why, because I was like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this.
Right. Oh, God.
I think
egg on the boys.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how dare you wear a skirt and have a body?
Yeah.
I got in trouble for that a lot.
How dare you?
Not the skirts, but the body.
The body.
Usually the shorts.
The body underneath the skirt.
I'm sorry, my 82-year-old grandmother bought me these shorts. You tell her I'm not going to wear them to school. Granny's going to call your parents. Small town.
She's going to blacklist you at the JCPenney.
Exactly. That woman was JCPenney's first customer. Saddest day when we closed that account.
Yeah, don't doubt it.
Literally the saddest day.
Yeah.
But enough about my poor fashion choices.
When she logs into the game, her name is Game Girl, and then her avatar is this like big-breasted like video game woman avatar.
Well, because if you pick a female avatar in most games, especially at that time, but even now, your boobs are going to be the size of most people's asses.
With a tiny waist.
Gotta love sexism. Game industry, you need to work on that.
Totally.
This is my PSA to all of you.
Yeah.
Get it together.
I will shout out a really good article that I read on Kotaku.
I didn't know where you were going with that, and I was nervous.
But a writer, Maddie O'Meyer, I think, wrote about her. It's like they're running like articles looking back on the decade. And she wrote an article looking back on the decade of being a woman in the game industry.
Oh my God, because it was in this decade where that one girl just got totally bullied. It was a horrible way to explain that, but
Gamergate.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was in. So Gamergate started in 2013 because of Zoe Quinn's game, and then that's when like more outward harassment came. There's a really good Deadspin article that came out around that time that kind of predicted it. It is titled "Gamergate is the Future of Culture Wars," which is 100% what's happening now. It is of how people react really hostily and aggressively with death threats and things like that on the internet, to a wider scale. I mean, still targeting women and minorities, but it's the kind of thing that we saw happen with like Star Wars 2 years ago and just whatever else comes up big. Like that was the first touch point where we see it on a big, massive scale. And especially at that time, like a bunch of people were playing Switzerland to like her getting attacked. Yeah, it was bad.
I hate people.
And it was like, well, we need to hear like both sides when they're like
no.
Yeah, exactly. And they're supposedly going after her because she slept with someone to get positive press of her, which was started by her ex-boyfriend.
And even if she did, if you want to fuck your way to the top, do it. It's the only way you can get ahead. No, I'm kidding. Please don't do that. No. I mean, do what you want. Yeah. But I that's so gross and it's so problematic and it's so unfortunate that our generation hasn't fixed this. So we need to get on it.
Right.
Well, and it's like the keyboard warriors. It's just like that whole like I'm behind a screen, so whatever I do doesn't matter, and I can't get hurt. And I can say mean things and hurt other people. And words hurt.
They do.
It's fucked up.
It is really fucked up.
It's an anti-bullying PSA as well. I'm just full of them. I'm an after-school special over here.
Good job. Yeah. I mean, what we have now is more mainstream sites that will at least...
moderate.
Yeah. And will... it's more commonplace to run things. Because she even talks about in the piece that... Then I'll get off this.
No, go ahead.
That like at the time, games criticism or opinion, like editorials on games were all like objective. What is the sound like? What is the graphics look like? How does the gameplay? And it wasn't really like talking about like, is there representation? Is there anything? So that's like all evolved now of like, okay, like this game might be fun, but it's problematic towards, minorities, like things like that. I mean, we're definitely haven't fixed it, but that's kind of like the state that we're at now. So it was like cool that she was able to like juxtapose those things.
Yeah, the diversity and inclusion piece.
Yeah, exactly.
It's obvious I work for a corporation. Like boy. The D&I. I just really think they need to work on D&I in the gaming industry. Yeah.
No, 100%.
I mean, they do, and it's true, and I think we can work on it everywhere. Because I still make 78 cents to your dollar.
Exactly. And it's real weird that it's exactly that.
Okay, but anyway. Back to the Silicon Mafia. Do you think Zuckerberg's really jealous that someone took that before he got around to it? Because Facebook wasn't out yet.
Probably. Coming for your data.
Oh, God. I didn't even think about that.
And we also get the homecoming flashback with Truth or Dare in the limo.
Oh, yeah. When Lily gets dared to kiss someone in the limo. And so she pretends like she's going to go kiss Logan.
Right.
And then she kisses Veronica. And that's when I was like, she's a good rival for Logan. Because,
Totally.
like, she's like, you think you're going to get me? I'm obviously not going to kiss my brother. Like,
Right,
I'm not
exactly.
kiss my best friend. And she's like, watch me as I
The
go kiss
driver's
my
driving.
best friend. I can't get in the front. The little thing's up in between.
He won't let me put it down.
I loved that. I thought that was fun.
Right.
And it wasn't done in like a way where it was like, we're trying to make this look hot. You know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
Like, it wasn't done in the like kissing for attention, which is
No.
a really gross thing to say, but you know.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Um,
and it's pretty quick.
Yeah, and it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes Duncan uncomfortable. And I mean, if we make Duncan show any emotion, it's always nice.
Exactly, the robot.
I don't think anything's happening there.
Mm-mm. I did find it hilarious because they had mentioned that it was a limo party that they were doing. Bless you.
Carry on.
That the limo party was 4 people. We're gonna do a limo party, and it's just like, oh, it's just gonna be us 4.
My dream party, just like me and like a couple people I like.
Yeah, it sounds nice.
We're obviously the most social.
Exactly. Then we get where they go to San Diego State to track down, or Wallace does. And he says they won't believe him that he's a nerd before then when he's getting all suited up in his nerd outfit. And I think he uses the term pimp juice, and I'm like, pimp juice really hasn't aged well.
No, and it probably wasn't good at the time.
No, probably not.
But this was on a weird network, so we don't know what the rules were back then.
UPN, Wild West.
The wild west of UPN.
Exactly.
Much like this
Nobody was
podcast,
watching.
it's easy to do what you want if no one's watching.
Exactly. We're not beholden to any network.
We're not beholden to anything.
Exactly. Just our voices.
And ourselves. It's our social responsibility.
Exactly. Damn right.
But anyway, so she puts a pocket protector in Wallace's pocket to make him look like a nerd.
Mm-hmm.
And my favorite thing is that Wallace is a nerd. Like, he's an athlete, but he's a nerd. He's literally our jack of all trades.
Mm-hmm.
He's like that one kid you went to high school with that he's like, yeah, sure, I'm like starting on in his case, the basketball team,
Mm-hmm.
but starting on the team. And then I also have a 4.0, and I also like have this life that has like a little bit of like traumatic past to it. So it's going to look really good on my personal statement. That's my theory behind Wallace. It was like, how do we write a minority character and not make him look like a minority? Like
You're not wrong.
Yeah, they tried really hard to be like, how do we make this audience friendly? Which is kind of problematic.
Yeah.
But they did not offer the same courtesy to Weevil.
Yeah. No, not at all. But he is one of those people that, like, at high school where it's like, how is this person... There's a few people in high school where it's like, how is this person so good at things and still so nice?
Yeah, we didn't really have a lot of those.
Oh, okay.
Remember, small pool.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, there's a few people. It's like, damn. What?
I was
Are
in
you
the
trying
top...
to get one up on me? Like...
Yeah, I was in the top 3% of the class. Like, there wasn't a hard competition going.
I get you.
But we got Wally, and he goes out to SDSU, and pretends to be a little nerd.
Right. And they ask him math questions.
Yeah. I literally wrote, Wallace as a nerd is A+. Wallace as a boyfriend is A+.
Wallace.
Because he asked her out.
Uh-huh.
After that, I was like, why did I write that?
My slash. Me and Wallace.
Yeah, exactly. The next note is E plus Wallace equals heart.
Carved it on a tree outside. Wallace, A+.
But yeah, so while Wallace is getting nerd hazed with questions while drinking a margarita.
Right. With the RA who's in Hawaiian gear.
Well, but Veronica's with the RA. Well, Wallace is with the guy from the Silicon Mafia.
Uh-huh.
The little guy and the big guy.
Exactly, on Gilmore Girls.
That's a very scared nerd.
Yes, I can't remember his name.
I can't remember his name on Gilmore Girls either, but he's the one that goes to do the theater for a bit, and then he comes back and Paris bullies him. And if you watch Gilmore Girls, you'll know because he's a very distinct character. But so while Wallace is getting nerd hazed, which I guess is just hazing, it doesn't matter.
They ask him math problems, for God's sakes.
Veronica's talking to the RA and tricks him into leaving so she can get the key, and then she goes into the guy's room and plants a bug so she can listen in and figure out what the code is because they have a fucking alarm in their dorm room, which is not allowed. Like, you can't have an alarmed security in your dorm room. I mean,
they made a lot of upgrades.
Yeah, they had alarms and backup alarms and locked safes and shit like that.
Yeah, I don't know how you'd even be able to like do all that electrical stuff.
Well, and it was also fake because, like, I mean, because it's a show, but also because, like, look at all the floor space they had.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
they had a ton of room in that dorm room.
Yeah, and this isn't Yale. This isn't like Rory's dorm room. Like, what the hell is this space?
Mm-hmm.
Though I assume that one was fake too.
Yeah, probably.
I don't assume dorm rooms look that nice at Yale, but I don't know. I've never been.
I haven't either. But I can attest. Well, no, I can't actually. But I bet the SDSU dorm rooms don't look like that.
Yeah, I've never been to SDSU. I've only been to.
I haven't really visited. I've been
USD.
on the campus.
I've been on USD's campus.
UCSD or USD?
USD.
Okay,
Like
the private.
The Catholic one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I went to a Catholic conference there in
Go
high school,
Toros.
so that I could get confirmed, so that my grandmother didn't kill me. It was worth it, but you know, I did get in trouble for sneaking out to get Oreos. rebel.
It's the devil's cookies. Chocolate and vanilla should be separate.
That's so problematic in this family.
It's the guy. Hey. Oh God. I apologize to my dog.
He's our little Oreo.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Veronica plants her little thing so she can listen in and learn the code to their room by pressing the buttons on her phone that make the same beepy noises. Because back then we used to have touch tone. I know you kids won't remember that.
Boy, what a great time.
T9, baby. I could T9 like a son of a bitch.
Oh God, I remember having such a hard time learning T9.
Really?
Yeah, and
that
I'm
does
like,
not surprise me.
Yeah. I'm just gonna do it the old-fashioned way and hit the button 3 times.
Oh, honey.
Yeah, no.
I would switch
I
back
wasn't
and
great
forth.
at texting.
You don't say.
Mm-mm.
Huh?
I got better.
You did.
Mm-hmm. And then by then I had the slide sideways keyboards. Yeah.
I thought you were saying you had a sidekick, and I was like,
No,
that
I
was
did
all
not have a sidekick.
all I ever wanted was a
I
sidekick.
wanted a sidekick too.
So bad, and I never got one. And when Rory's dad got her one in Gilmore Girls, this is just becoming a Gilmore Girls podcast. I was so jealous.
Do they get sidekicks in this show?
I don't know. I think so, maybe.
Yeah. Okay, maybe later.
Yeah.
Trying to remember. I remember there's like I think it's Veronica Mars where like sidekicks are prominently featured. Maybe when she's in college.
I know it is in Gilmore Girls. Like, it was a big thing.
Right. Okay.
Because the rich dad gets her one.
Right.
And he has one. Anyway, so then Veronica sits at school and listens in to get that code, and she's late to go meet Troy, who's with her dad, meeting her dad before homecoming. And that's when Keith tells Troy that, like, basically, do you have any intentions with my daughter? And Troy's like, no, of course not. I am a good boy. And the point of asking her to the dance was to go to the dance. And Keith is like, well, good, because then I canceled your reservation at the Four Seasons. I hope you don't mind.
It's the best.
But also, like, what if he'd made that reservation for his parents?
On homecoming night?
Yeah, maybe his parents needed a room. The house is getting fumigated. Like, I just felt like, I mean, Keith, we got to check into this before
you don't
we
think
cancel.
His parents could reserve this?
I mean, maybe they'd ask him to do it. Just like, hey, honey, do you
Put
want
it
to
under your name?
Well, you start using your credit card so you can build your credit score. They're
okay.
09ers, remember?
All right.
You
okay.
know.
All right. Sure.
It wasn't true, but I liked that. I liked that out for him in my head.
So before that, we get Veronica dropping off the footage to Logan, which is just the saddest of just Logan, like, sitting at the computer, like, editing these footage videos. There's
nothing sadder than a mean boy being sad.
He's very sad.
Like a true bully, just, like, being like, oh,
Yeah.
God. Like, and now I have to look at feelings, and I have feelings. I have big feelings.
It's really sad.
It is sad. But also, maybe don't be a dick.
Very true. He's got feelings, so, like, he cries now. He's got to take it out on someone else later.
Exactly. Like, no, that's not healthy. Go see a therapist. You can afford it.
And then... Do we get the Keith breaking into the Silicon Mafia's room before the homecoming scene?
I think so. I don't really have any notes on it.
Oh, so that's where because he's DEA and brings in, which I thought was amazing, and brings in Not sidekick. Oh my god.
It's not Sidekick? What's the dog's name? Oh God. Well, this is
Oh,
embarrassing.
no. Oh no.
Back up.
Thank you. Whew. All right.
It's okay.
Hold the plane up at the last minute. Sully Sullenberger of this podcast.
That's me. There's a goose.
Caught in the engine of our podcast, but don't worry. We landed safely. Everybody's getting out on the Hudson.
Where we do live, we do have wild turkeys, but I've never seen a goose.
No. Mm-mm. We don't get goose this far south. False.
This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I grew up further south than this.
Right. Okay. And I just wanted to mention the Keith going in with backup.
Yes, he takes backup in to search the room for drugs.
Right. Exactly. And I thought it was even better. Like, I forgot to mention at the college party where people were like, "Yeah, they're like definitely growing like pot in there," and it's just like, yeah, that's the exact same conclusion I would have jumped to if I was in college.
And the walls are warm. And
Exactly.
But when you looked at them, you didn't think like, I bet these nerds just have a bunch of electronic equipment plugged in.
No.
Okay.
There were a lot of stupid nerds that would have done that in college. Like that would have like been like, "Oh, I've smoked pot and now I'm going to grow pot in my dorm room."
Why?
I don't know.
That's dumb.
Yes.
I wouldn't have bought pot from someone that's stupid.
That's true. That's probably a good idea. I bet the pot wouldn't have been very good.
No. Didn't get any real sun. Is that a thing? Does it need real sun? I feel like it can have
I
grow
don't think
lights.
so. That's what I'm saying is they have grow lights.
Put in your dorm. Oh God. Anyway,
Yeah, people are stupid.
don't grow pot in your dorm. Just buy it somewhere. You live in California.
No.
Or if you don't live in California, I'm sorry.
They didn't have their med cards at the time, apparently. Or maybe they did. I don't know. Who cares?
Whatever. And even then, you're not allowed to grow in your dorm room.
No.
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 Yeah.
What? I was like, just no.
Stop it.
Drop it.
Drop it. Yeah.
Can you tell we raise a dog? But yeah, so then the next thing I have after the dad cancels the hotel reservations is at the memorial.
Oh, okay. So before then, we do get the wrap up of the mystery plot. So Keith calls them pretending to be like from some like video game company and says they should come see the Matrix Online early, which I'm like, yes, this is a great timepiece. Love the Matrix Online.
Did you?
I never played it.
Okay.
But, so it was like WoW, but for Matrix. In
Oh.
the mid-2000s. Yeah.
Oh God.
I thought you loved the Matrix.
Full disclosure, I've only seen one, and
It was amazing.
it was about a month ago. It was something. I did not know that it was much like the first time I watched Star Wars, except I really liked the Star Wars the first time I watched it.
What are you saying?
It's like, I didn't expect this to be so easy to follow along.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I always think they're supposed to be these complicated movies.
No.
I doubt my intelligence because I'm a
Exactly.
woman.
Well, stuff like this always seems complicated from the outside.
But then you take the red pill or the blue pill, and you either find out that the world is all fake, or you find out that they're going to kill you. So
Yeah. 'Cause
I don't know which one's the better option.
I feel like I always have that realization with new Star Wars movies and Marvel movies, because people start talking about all this stuff related to Marvel and Star Wars, and it's just like background lore that usually is like super easily explained in the movie, and then it's like, oh, well, this wasn't that complicated.
Agreed. Yeah, I'm always a little nervous walking into a Marvel. I never know what I'm going to get.
Right. So then when they're out with Wallace to go see the Matrix Online.
Oh, yeah, because they have to take the new recruit,
Right.
which is Wallace.
And then Veronica breaks in. And that's when we get like a voiceover of exactly what they're doing. And I think that's definitely... It probably wasn't intended to be that was the wrap up of like, oh, and here's how we figure out their plan for why they're swindling people. To have it just be like voiceover for Veronica, but I'm sure like time constraints of like having to be on television, having to be like whatever 42 minutes, they'd probably just like, oh God, okay, we're just get Kristen Bell in a booth and she'll just like say it all. And And it's just like her saying like, yeah, they're making a video game and they needed money and they didn't want to like have to get money from other publishers. So they just like swindled people.
Yeah, they didn't want investors because if they had investors, then they'd have to share the profits. And if they just stole money, then they own all the revenue when they start the game.
Because it's going to blow the lid off Quake or something like that.
So then she destroys all their stuff.
Yeah, pretty great.
And pours energy drinks on things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's truly one of the better parts. Was that a real energy drink from our era? I didn't recognize it.
I didn't look at the can.
I was like, oh, if Bang had been around back then, I bet they would have gotten a sponsor.
Absolutely. Or Monster.
Just Bang, though, because I feel like Bang is sponsoring everyone.
Totally.
Like you see Bang all over TikTok.
Bang Energy.
Should I not have said that out loud?
Sponsored by Bang.
Or TikTok.
Let me tell you guys, this stuff is for real.
Oh, God, no. No. No energy drinks. We just drink coffee in this house.
Mm-hmm. Lovely Bang coffee.
Oh, my God. I'm going to kill you.
Oh, and she also said that she was going to give like a tip to the FBI afterwards. And it's just like, why?
To scare them.
Oh.
Yeah.
She didn't say that to them.
But they could hear her.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was to prevent people from ripping other people off in the future.
Okay.
Preventative care. Veronica plays head games.
Yeah, because she says it to Georgia and Wallace, I didn't think it was intended for them.
Oh, well, maybe she is telling the FBI, but I thought it was just to be like, yeah, and I'm telling the FBI, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
Like a stage whisper. Could you tell from my time in the theater?
Right. You're on.
But yeah, okay, so then we go to the memorial.
Mm-hmm.
So then I have
Oh, and we get the flashback too.
Oh, of them on the beach and the like Never Have I Ever game.
Oh, right. We skipped over that one.
Well, they basically play Never Have I Ever,
right.
And you find out that Veronica and Duncan are virgins.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically the sum. And Veronica's never skinny dipped.
Yes. And then the flashback for the memorial is where they arrive home from the night out.
Oh, and they all get in trouble, and
right.
Veronica's dad is there.
And they're like, "Oh, you called the sheriff, ha ha ha."
Yeah.
Which I thought I like that when they're getting in trouble. It's the like teen in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
That it's like real. It's like, oh, these teens were like irresponsible for a night, and of course, like the parents are sitting there just like, oh, God damn it, like you had us worried all night. Luckily, they were in a limo, so it's like they weren't gonna get like.
They weren't driving, and also, couldn't you have just called the limo company and been like, "You have my minors, bring them back"?
You probably could have called the guy.
Or like, I mean, even if it was through like Logan's parents, like just like.
Mm-hmm.
Call and be like, hi, my child is in a limo, and it's a small town. They could have found.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right.
Keith could have pulled him over. They didn't want to interrupt. They wanted them to have a good time.
No, totally.
But then they wanted to get mad at them because
right. They wanted to get mad at Lily.
Yes,
because it's Lily's fault.
Even though Donkey runs to the rescue and is like, it was my idea.
Yeah, let me fall on the sword, Lilykins.
Oh God, I call him Donkey. You call her Lilykins?
I don't know.
Oh,
that's what Duncan calls her.
Oh.
Go with this.
Oh God. Okay. And then we have the memorial, which has the dad sitting in the chair initially when like it starts, and the mom's talking about Lily and like how great things were and how Lily would have loved the band's tribute and all the bullshit that wasn't true. The dad looks like wildly guilty, and I was like,
right?
Like, oh, did Daddy kill his dearest? And if so, why? And then as the mom continues on with her false narrative, Duncan just looks stoic.
Yeah,
he's there's nothing going on there.
Robot.
But then they play the video that Logan made, and it has clips from the prom night or homecoming night that we've seen all the flashbacks for. So we have the famous Lily, "You love me, don't you?" line.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm.
And a bunch of just like, fun moments from that night. That
mooning a truck.
Yeah, the mooning a truck that Logan edited in for them. I think he left out the girl on girl kiss, but I can't remember.
He did.
And then the dad, it looks almost like relieved in a sense, because it's like, oh, it was truly, he wasn't feeling like Lily's event was authentic. It wasn't guilt per se.
Mm-hmm.
And Duncan still looks stoic, and Mom looks pretty mad, but like she didn't say anything. And Weevil cries.
Yeah, and same with the dad, Jake, also cries.
Yes.
Which reminds me of setting him up almost like, reminds me again of Twin Peaks, of like the dad that is simultaneously like very happy about his daughter's life, but is also like moved to tears.
Mm-hmm.
But sorry, go on.
And then the last thing I have is just like then the actual homecoming dance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where they're going there and Veronica goes skinny dipping.
She wears a red satin dress, and then they pull up near the beach, and she tells them she needs to get out by herself, and it's her, Wallace, Georgia, and Troy Boy. And Troy's trying to figure out what she's doing, and Wallace is like, I'd stop trying to figure out the day I met her. And then she goes
Wise
skinny
words.
dipping. And then I'm like, but then does she go to the dance? Because she definitely ruined her hair and makeup, so the photos are going to be weird.
But she doesn't care.
But
she was skinny dipping for herself.
she was, but if they don't go to the dance, Troy's going to die. Because Keith has basically threatened him.
That's true. That's why he's like, we need to go.
Yeah, he's like, I don't think we should make any stops.
Mm-hmm.
Which is quite great. I'd like to see a rich boy shaking his boots a little.
Uh-huh. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Rich teenage boy shaking his boots by the dad.
You gotta scare him somehow.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, that's all we got for that one.
Mm, I thought it was great. Like, and you get the, like you said, Wallace cry, or not Wallace.
Wallace does not cry.
Oh, I'd be so sad. Weevil.
Weevil cries.
Mm-hmm. So like setting up like, what does that have to do with anything?
I mean, who didn't love Lily Kane? You love her, don't you?
Mm-hmm. I do.
You do? Oh, I think Amanda Seyfried's taken, honey.
Yeah.
And so are you.
Mm-hmm. I am.
Okay.
Very happy.
Oh, you don't sound like it. Well, on that note.
Yeah. Any final?
Oh,
You
no.
got it.
Nope.
You asked me, please.
Any final thoughts?
No, I think that, like I mentioned at the top, it's I think this is the first like truly great episode.
Yeah, it's another good one for Keith. He gets a lot of fun, like, verbal sparring with Veronica without taking away from the plot. I guess that's why they couldn't fit Weevil in. I was going to say my only complaint is still I wanted more Weevil.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the red, like the fashion choice they made in this one, that it was, because before it's been like just colors of that time. And it's like Lily telling her she's something like very classically sexy, like red satin.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, I feel like, empowering for her.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we have our episode title.
Red satin.
Yeah, you're a red satin dress.
You're a red satin dress?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll see.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding. What about anything else?
I did write that the humor was really on point this episode. Like across the board. Like even the stuff that like Wallace getting like grilled was actually like, okay, this is pretty funny.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But yeah, I thought across the board this was a good episode.
Yeah, and I mean, you love Lily, don't you? That was what I feel like your major takeaway was.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly.
I was like, oh, crickets.
Exactly. That Amanda Seyfried was the best on this.
Yeah, it's a good one. All right, well, do we know the title of the next one?
Yes. You think you know somebody.
I don't remember anything about. Oh, I bet it's about Troy.
Yes. So then you do remember it, I bet.
Oh no, already?
Yeah, it's really quick.
He's brief. Well, we'll keep the spoilers to ourselves for now, and
now I will actually plug stuff. We actually have things to plug. For the first time, we created a Facebook and a Twitter and an email inbox. So you can find us at Mars Rewatch on all of those. So Mars Rewatch on Facebook, Twitter, and then marsrewatch@gmail.com if you want to write in emails, anything. And then we can incorporate that on the podcast. So
absolutely,
yeah, find us on there.
Awesome.
Do you remember your sign off?
No. You ask me this every time, and I
know.
never remember.
They toasted marshmallows.
Oh. Thank you for the stage whisper, Dad.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Stay toasted, marshmallows.
Oh, great job, honey.
You're doing great, sweetie.
Adios. One more plug.
Yeah, if you want to check out my blog, it is I really felt the need to include that.
Mm-hmm.
But really, though, blog, BUTREALLYTHO blog.com. Check it out.
And then do you want to plug your Instagram also?
Oh, yeah. It's but really, though, spelled the same way. Blog and then an underscore because someone had taken all the good Instagram handles.
Perfect.
All right. Thanks, friends. We'll see you next time, marshmallows.